Hi everyone, my name's Margeaux and I'm a freshman at Wofford College in Spartanburg, South Carolina. I'm double majoring in math and Spanish on the pre-med track. And today I'm here with you guys. I'm coming to you from my dorm room. So I'm over here just sitting in my chair, and I'm going to talk to you guys about a fun experience that I was able to have through my school, and it was a study abroad experience. So I'm just going to tell you a little bit about what that was like for me. For those of you that might be interested in study abroad in the future, if you have questions or if you just want to see what study abroad could be like, that's what I'm here for, is to talk about that. So I have my iPad right here. I've written down some things to tell you guys. I'm going to have some pictures that are going to come up on the screen, and I'm just going to tell you guys about my experience. So it is March now, but in December, I had the opportunity to go to Ghana, Africa. So Wofford does something called interim, where it's similar to a J term, where during the month of January we have the opportunity to choose a course or a certification to work towards or study abroad that we get to focus on for the entire month of January. So I chose to go to Ghana, Africa. So I went through a program called CIEE, and this was a program through Wofford as well, but I have always wanted to go to Africa for whatever reason. When I was little, I really wanted to go to Africa, and so this came up, and it was a program on reproductive health and how culture affects that in Ghana. And since I want to go to med school, I thought this would be a great program for me, super interesting, and I would get to be in Africa at the same time. So my program started the day after Christmas, so I left the United States the day after Christmas, and I was there until January 17th, so about 3 weeks. So it took me, it was 2 flights to get there. So I flew from Atlanta, Georgia, and then I got to Amsterdam, and then I went from Amsterdam to Ghana. And then on the way back, it was 3 flights, just because it's a little bit longer. So I flew there, and there was a 5-hour time difference. So Ghana is 5 hours ahead. So right now it is 1 o'clock here in South Carolina, so it's 6 p.m. in Ghana. That was something that I had to get used to when I first got there. It didn't take too long, surprisingly. Coming back was worse because I was just tired all the time, but going there it wasn't too bad. So there was a bit of a time difference, but it was cool. It was a cool experience to have because I'd never gone through a time difference like that. So I'm going to show you guys a picture on the screen. This is the first picture I took once we got to Ghana. This was me and my leaders who had come and picked us up from the airport. And by the way, I haven't mentioned this, but one of my friends also came with me. Her name's Maggie. She's also in this picture. She came with me. She also goes to Wofford with me, so we were travel buddies. But this is the picture of us when we first got there. They picked us up on this huge bus. They loaded all of our stuff in the car, and the first thing that we noticed once we got there is there were no seatbelts in that bus. So you do not have to wear seatbelts. Just a cultural difference. That's not a law there. So we got into our bus and headed to where we were living. So that's kind of segueing into the next thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about. Is normally on most programs, you either have the option to have a homestay or you have the option to stay in a hostel, which is the same thing as a dorm in the United States. So I chose to stay in a homestay, which essentially means that I got to live with a host family for my entire 3 weeks. So I had a host sister, I had a host brother, host mom, and host dad, and I stayed in their house. They made me meals. I went to activities with them. They taught me different things about the culture, and it was really cool. I would never go back and if I could go back and do that again, I would not change the fact that I did a homestay. It was the best part of my trip. I still talk to them today. I just talked to my host sister today, so it was such a blessing. But it was so cool to have them. This is a picture of me with them. This was actually on the last day that I was there. We were all saying goodbye, but that is a picture of all of us together. So they were great. I loved them dearly, and that was really cool. So because I was in a homestay, I did have to travel to and from school since I wasn't living on campus, and that was something that was a little bit different for me that I had never done before. I had gone to some other foreign countries before, but I had never had to travel by myself. So we had to take something that's called a trotro, and I'll show a picture or maybe a video, but it's essentially like a van that they cram like 20 people into a 15-person van, and you ride that from station to station, and you just have to know where you're going to get off. So I had to learn like the names of the places that I needed to stop to be able to get to school, and it cost like 5 CDs, which is maybe 50 cents here, so it wasn't expensive at all. But that was one mode of transportation. Another one was Uber. Works the same as here, except for sometimes it's unreliable. It says that they're going to be there in 8 minutes and it takes an hour, but I used Uber a lot. I also used the taxi system. Taxis work great there. They know where they're going, they know what to do, so I did take taxis every once in a while, which was a good option. So that was kind of transportation, a little bit different than here in the United States. Since you don't have a car, you can't just drive wherever. You have to have a driver. So I was going to talk a little bit about my daily schedule, and I'll have some pictures from school and different things, and maybe us riding to get there. But essentially, we would wake up early in the morning. I would wake up around 6 a.m. and get ready for school, and then I would have breakfast, and then I would leave my house around 7:45. Class started, I think class started at 9:30 maybe, 9 or 9:30, but I would leave very early, almost an hour early, because you never know how long it's going to take you to get there. Traffic might be crazy. You never know if an Uber is going to come to pick you up or not. So I would always leave an hour early. So I would go to school. I had class for 3 hours a day. I studied reproductive health, as I had mentioned earlier. We would just have a 3-hour lecture, and then we would get let out from school. So then normally what we would do is we would go and have lunch with some friends at a couple different restaurants, which was fun. Or we would go home and have lunch at our houses, just depended on the day. Normally in the afternoon, if we had homework, we would sometimes we would go to a coffee shop, which we only did that a few times, but we would go to a coffee shop on the opposite side of Ghana, where a lot more Americans live. So we would go to a coffee shop and do homework, or we would go home and do homework with my host sister because she also had school. So we would do that. And then the rest of the afternoon was ours. So a lot of times we would just go and explore the country. We went to the market several times. We had several different activities, which I'm going to tell you guys about in a minute. We would go do that, and it was really, really, really cool. So yeah, that was mainly the layout of the day. We would have meals, like I would have dinner at my homestay. But that was mainly the layout of the day. It was really cool. Very flexible, and it allowed us to learn a lot about Ghana and make lots of friends, which was super awesome. So the next thing I was going to talk about is food. Now, I am a foodie. I absolutely love food. I love healthy food, and I love international food. So I want to just kind of talk about some of the meals that we had there, some of the things that we had that I was surprised about, and just show you all some pictures. So the food was delicious, absolutely delicious. Everything in Ghana is spicy, including their cookies. So they even have something called ginger cookies, which I will put a picture up there for you guys. But we had ginger cookies, and they were even spicy. But I love spicy, so I enjoyed it. So anyways, ginger cookies were one of our snacks that we enjoyed having. And then another thing that we got to do, which was really fun, was get a fresh coconut. There was a guy outside of my house who sold fresh coconuts every single day, and you could drink the coconut water. So there's a picture of that. Let's see, what else do we have? My host mom was an incredible cook, so I had tons of meals that were so good at home. She made these sandwiches that were like, it's kind of like an Uncrustable, but on the inside it's meat and vegetables. It's hard to explain, but she would serve them hot. They were absolutely delicious. My favorite snack of all time, even in the United States, is plantain chips. So I had plantain chips, of course, while I was in Ghana. We even had Chinese food in Ghana, which was interesting. Now, it was Ghanaian Chinese food, so it was a little bit different, but it was so yummy. And it always came with plantains, which I was so happy about. And then we also had something called fufu. So fufu is like dumpling dough that you don't cook. So it's a raw dough, but it's made out of yams, and it's pounded into these balls of dough, and then it's put into soup. So culturally, you're supposed to eat it with your hands, and you don't chew it. You just swallow the dough in pieces. Now, since my friends and I were not used to that, like our hands could not touch the hot soup without getting burned. Ghanaians are just used to that, so we would use spoons, but you just swallow the dough. I was terrified and thought that I was not going to survive swallowing dough, but it's actually really easy and it was so good. So that's fufu. Another one of my favorite meals I had was called red, and it's like beans. It's beans and plantains, and sometimes they put chicken as well with it. Absolutely delicious. And then my favorite of all time snacks in Ghana was called bofrot, and bofrot is essentially it's like a donut or a beignet, but it's not sweet like that, but it's fried. So it's this fried dough ball, and it's, oh my goodness, so good. So they sell them on the street. I'll put a picture of that as well. But they're sold on the street, and they stay hot because of the sun, and they're so delicious. So that was one of my favorite snacks. But that's just a little bit of the food. I could talk about Ghana forever, so I don't want to make this video too long for you guys, but that was just a little bit about the food. Absolutely loved that. So the next thing I wanted to talk about was there a language barrier? Not really. Most Ghanaians speak English, which is wonderful. However, we did learn a little bit of Twi, which is the native language. However, it's difficult. It's mainly sounds instead of words, but there wasn't a language barrier. All of our classes were in English, so that was very helpful. Okay, next, I wanted to talk about some fun experiences I got to have while I was there. These were some trips that we took with the school, and some different experiences I got to have. So the first thing was I really wanted to get my hair braided while I was there. I had always wanted to get my hair braided, and my host family actually had a friend who lives down the street and is a hair braider, and she had braided several host students' hair before, and so I was able to go get that done. So I actually got blue hair braided into my hair, and I'll show you guys a picture of that. But it was so much fun. I got to play with her kids while she was braiding my hair. I got to learn about her, and oh my goodness, it was so wonderful. So I had braids for half the time that I was in Ghana, and it was actually really helpful because, I didn't have to do my hair every single day. I just had the braids, and it was so much fun. It was just something that you can't do here, something that's a little bit different, and I just loved it. Another thing that I got to do was go visit a slave castle in what's called Cape Coast, Ghana. And that was a very sad experience, I would say, because that's where slaves used to be held. So we learned a lot about that. So the ocean was right there. I'll show you all several different pictures. It was so pretty. Oh my goodness. Ocean was beautiful. We also got to go somewhere called the Kakum National Park, and at Kakum, we walked across the forest canopy. Yes, like on top of the trees. There were 7 bridges, these rickety bridges that we walked across and got to see above the trees. It was absolutely insane, but oh my goodness, beautiful. So beautiful. But if you don't like heights, that would not have been for you. But it was wonderful. Then we also went to a botanical garden that had a ropes course, and we did a ropes course for 4 hours. It was crazy. It's not like a ropes course that we're used to here. It was a little bit scary, but it was really, really exciting. I had so much fun. It was crazy though. 4 hours on a ropes course, that can make you tired for sure. Then we also went to a nature reserve, which was really cool. There were monkeys there were zebras, ostriches. I held a snake, which I'll show you guys with the pictures as well. I held a snake, which was crazy, but it was just so much fun. Oh my goodness, I absolutely loved it. So, it was just a beautiful nature reserve. We got to climb a mountain while we were there as well. I have pictures of that. So we climbed a mountain, and stood on top of there. I mean, the beauty, guys, it was just, oh my gosh, I was so taken back. The beauty was just insane, incredible. So it was beautiful. And then last, one of the other things I had written down over here was, I had this wonderful experience where I had gone to go get something from the market on the street, and I got to meet some kids who had never met an American before. And so they got to talk to me, and I got to talk to them and just love on them a little bit. So there's some pictures of them as well. But that was such a heartwarming experience. I loved that. Okay, I don't want to make this video too much longer, but a quick couple of things. So saying goodbye was the hardest thing I have had to do. One, because I was leaving behind this country that now has a piece of my heart. Two, I had friends and my host family that I was leaving, and it was so hard. And also, I had just gotten used to life in Ghana. Like, I had gotten used to it. But I also knew that I had great things to come back to here, and that got me excited. So, what did I bring home from Ghana? How did I benefit? My life has changed because I went to Ghana. It has changed for the better. I came back to the United States with a brand new perspective on everything in life. Absolutely everything. And I mean, I'm just blown away. When I was in Ghana, I found a simplicity that I just don't get to experience here in the United States. The simplicity of, you go to school and you learn and you enjoy it, and then you come home and you spend time with your family and you just chill. You know, you go to the market, just the simplicity of life. And that's something that I've come back with, is just remembering that simplicity, that life doesn't have to be crazy all the time. It doesn't have to be so busy. So it was just beautiful. Another thing I came back with was the concept of Ghana time. So in Ghana, you know, you'll say, hey, let's go to the market at 3 o'clock on Tuesday. Well, 3 o'clock on Tuesday rolls around and you're not going to the market. You're now taking a nap at 3 o'clock on Tuesday, or you're going to go and watch a movie with your friend. Ghana time is something that we are not used to here in the United States, because we're just like, okay, if you're not there at 1:40 p.m. on the dot, then we can't do this, and because we have something at 2:40 p.m. and it's bam, 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 bam. But in Ghana, it's just like stress-free. Just enjoy life, do what you can, and tomorrow's a new day. And that is something I struggle with, but it is something that I've brought back, and I'm so thankful for it, to remember back to, why am I stressing? It's going to get done. Everything in the day is going to get done. We all have 24 hours in the day. Everyone in Ghana has 24 hours in the day, and they still get all their stuff done. Another thing that I brought back was openness to change, and that came from that Ghana time, because for the first week while I was there, I had so many times where somebody would say, all right, we're going to go again to the market at 3 o'clock, okay? And then we didn't go to the market at 3 o'clock, and I would get angry. I'm like, guys, like, what are we doing? But you just have to be so open to change and be like, you know what, if we don't do that today, that's okay. It's okay, because we'll get it done. So that was a huge lesson for me. I also brought home relationships, and I brought home relationships that were stronger than before. So not only do I have relationships in Ghana now with people, I also have a relationship with Maggie, who went with me. Our relationship is much tighter because we stayed together for 3 weeks and got to experience this all together. So that is such a blessing. I also, have a relationship with my professor in Ghana. I also have a relationship with my advisors there. So if I ever wanted to go back, I have that. My host family, it's just, oh my goodness, so thankful for those relationships. So I can just not say enough about my experience in Ghana. We're at 20 minutes already on this video. I hope you guys have been able to watch through it, because this is just something that gets me so excited and I'm so passionate about. I absolutely love study abroad, and I recommend it for anyone who maybe has this little tiny inkling that they maybe want to. If you feel like this is something you want to do, do it. Do it. No matter what anybody else says, it's an experience that you will never have again. We're in college right now, and you might be about to go into college. You only have 4 years of college. You only have 4 or 5 years of college, however long you're in, and so make the best of it. Make use of it. There's never going to be another time where you will have a study abroad program on your side. And so make use of it. If you guys have any questions about study abroad, I would be happy to answer them, or reach out to SC Can Go and we can get in touch. I would love to talk about it. As you can tell, this is something that I'm really passionate about and love to talk about. But I thank you guys for listening to my experience in Ghana, and I hope that maybe this has sparked some of your interest in study abroad and looking into your programs at your school. And again, if you have any questions, please just reach out to us. We would be happy to help you guys. Thank y'all so much for watching. Bye!